Um, but there's one thing that has been kind of, as we've been talking, that has been, I guess we're probably going to have to shut this down shortly. I know you said you have some stuff to do. I know I got to turn in a couple things for school. Do you think that there is a thread of a victim mentality amongst black people in America, not specifically American descendants of slaves, because to me it just seems like there is a Jamaicans are Jamaicans, Nigerians are Nigerians, Ghanaians are Ghanaians, but there's something of a shared black identity. Mm-hmm. So I'm asking this about blacks overall. Do you think that there is a thread of a victim mentality?
I do think there exists the post-traumatic slave syndrome. I do believe there are elements of that syndrome that we as ADOS members can struggle with. I do believe that post-traumatic stress, or as the writer said, post-traumatic slave syndrome, that there are elements of being traumatized, psychologically, emotionally, physically, sexually, all of it, that our ancestors, that intergenerational. Now, I have to be careful. We have to approach this very carefully without pathologizing a whole group of people, which has been done time and time again. People wrote numerous volumes on how sick black folk are. And
do you think that black culture expresses?
I think black culture is extremely resilient. Our ability to take trauma, to take pain and suffering and channel it through the arts and channel it through our spirit is second to none.
You don't think it's pathological at all?
I think the world recognizes our ability and talent to sublimate pain, hurt, loss into the arts.
When I think of
really, it's a very a profound ability.
I think there's something to that. But do you think that black culture is pathological?
Oh, no.
So do you think that this
I think
overwhelming thug? Because when I think of black culture, I think that most people will think of hip hop in some form or fashion.
When I think of black culture, I
that thug culture,
hip hop. That's not the first thing that I think. When I think of black culture, I think of the arts, and I don't think of hip hop music as black culture, even though.
Do you think that at the large scale people would? Because I have my doubts that most people would think.
I'm more interested in the literary arts and the visual arts. That I think.
You know, a lot of black folks don't read. I mean, a lot of people don't read, but a lot of black folks don't read. They don't read.
I think our culture is so much more rich than thug, than be this or F that or kill him or kill him.
Yeah, no, and I don't think. No, and I don't want to say. Well, I don't want to say that that is all we are, or that is. I'm saying that dominates the
when I
popular.
Think of black culture, I think of jazz. I think of jazz.
I think of. Do you consider yourself more cultured than average? I haven't necessarily
compared myself to like the culture, because anybody can be cultured.
Well,
anybody can be cultured, right?
Yeah, anybody can be, but not anybody is cultured. So I'm saying, you interact with different types of people.
Yeah.
You use public transportation at times, or you might be right. So, so do you recognize that you might be, you might seek a different cultural experience?
Well, I do recognize that many of the things I'm interested in, other people aren't.
Right.
Let me just say that.
Right.
Okay. Interested in the live theater, interested in reading, interested in art, interested in going to galleries, interested in Asian arts. And I can just go on and on. African art. Just learning, wanting to immerse myself in these different experiences and things.
Yeah.
I mean, people have their interests, right?
Right.
And if you're not exposed to things, and I think going to college was a great. Even before college, I was exposed to things thanks to my parents,
Right.
my mom, and things.
So
like that.
do you think that because so many people are not exposed to those sorts of things that has resulted in a type of pathology?
No,
throughout
I can't
black
say
people in this country?
because you didn't experience a certain cultural thing that therein lies your pathology. No, I think that.
What do you think accounts for the pathological elements present in black culture?
Well, all cultures have pathology on some level, right? Culture is
just to qualify that, like, give me an example. Let's say if we think about Chinese people, not Asians in general. Like, I'm trying to narrow it down. Mm-hmm. Or Japanese. So pick one of those two, and let's say kind of identify a pathological element to their culture that will be analogous to the pathology that's. We know we're here, so it's evident to us in black culture.
Our culture has been sold. It's been exploited. Cultural appropriation. People take aspects of our culture and try to make it their own.
Do you think we do that?
I don't think we appropriate other people's culture. I think we as ADOS are so immersed in our own culture, and it's sold
so like these girls on Instagram.
It's packaged and it's sold throughout the world.
But
I don't think ADOS appropriates other cultures than other cultures appropriate us.
Okay, but do you think that we practice cultural appropriation?
Oh, no.
So you think that
we don't have to?
That they have. You think? Do you think that? Do you think that black women have Aboriginal Australians in mind when they get straight blonde weaves?
The thing about that is people don't understand, but there are blacks who have blonde hair and blue eyes.
But I'm saying, do you think
it's a part of our genetic history?
But
but a lot of people don't know that.
So since they don't know that, do you think that the reason they're wearing blonde wigs is because their genetic memory is telling them this?
Well, I think the genetic memory, or if you use a Carl Jungian perspective, I think there is a collective unconsciousness that is at work. That even though we may not be privy to some things that are ancient or some things in our history, we may have nonetheless exhibit a type of propensity to move towards those things, and then even without being consciously aware of it. But I do think cultures have a way of influencing.
So why I guess I would wonder or hope that they would start to unconsciously drift towards something that's not killing that nigga or flipping bricks to this nigga.
Right. And that is the whole. I think that the rap industry is starting to really look at how rap has been weaponized for the self-destruction.
But we agree that black people are weaponizing
it. Yes. Why? Because blacks are writing the lyrics.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But writing the lyrics and being able to usher the lyrics throughout the world is another thing.
Well, now because we have
no.
I want,
but if I don't have a Jewish a Jewish.
I think that might have been true in 1986, 1996.
Then the lyrics aren't going anywhere.
Totally unnecessary anymore. And I didn't think about this when we talked about it the other night. But no.
On the record distributors.
When you look at, because of the internet now, you actually don't need to. There are artists that only use SoundCloud, for instance. It was just a website. You go there, you upload your songs, you become popular, and then from that, people say, okay, well, we'll give you this much money, and then on the back end, we're going to take this much money, just like any other type of investment.
But I'm saying that, yes. And
so they're getting this music out themselves.
But not to the point in which
it's just streams and downloads now.
Let me just say this. It's not
Remember,
to the point.
They're not shipping units out anymore.
Yeah, but let me say this. It's not to the point that at some point, and I think you will agree with this point, the death and the destruction of black men and women has become a worldwide form of entertainment.
Oh, I do agree with that.
Okay? It has been weaponized. Our death and our destruction has been weaponized.
No,
throughout the world.
I 100% agree with that, and I think that we have done that.
We have a greater responsibility in righting that wrong.
No. I mean, I'm saying that we have done it.
We did it, but we didn't do it alone. Nonetheless, we have a greater responsibility in righting that wrong. So the rap artists, no, you're not going to sing about that bitch and that hoe and that nigga. No, you're going to rap about self-love, preservation, okay, family, learning, all of those things. We're going to rap about those things. Okay?
I hope y'all rappers hear that.
That's what we need to be. That's what we need to do, because anybody who's going to rap about their own demise, people of their own group, it's a dangerous thing. It's a dangerous thing.
I definitely don't disagree with that, but I don't. I don't offer that responsibility to anybody else. That's us.
It's our responsibility.
Yeah.
Yes. And when the record producers say, I want you to sing about death and destruction, you say, not only will I not sing about death and destruction,
I don't think any producers are doing that, though. I don't think they're ever.
Really? Do you give them that much credit?
I can't even imagine.
That the debauchery that is in the music industry.
Why would they have to? Well, there's so much of it within the culture already is totally unnecessary.
Because it's been weaponized.
But we've weaponized it.
No, we didn't weaponize.
Yeah, we did. We did.
How? How so?
Well, I mean, I'll use Tupac as a microcosm. Tupac used to be like a background dancer, kind of conscious rapper type dude. Look like a what you might think of as mid-90s hip hop, more of that type of guy. Pac didn't like that image. Pac wanted to be a thug. Pac wanted to be a gang member. He wanted that image. He wanted to communicate that image. He wanted us to look at him as a thug. So he got thug life tattooed across him, and he started rapping about being a thug, and that was his persona, not the proper speaking teenager who was going to a performing arts school with Jada Pinkett and who halfway it may have sounded like a girl when he was talking. Not he didn't want that image. He wanted a different image.
But why didn't he want that image? Why didn't he want that image?
Probably because the black community demands. I mean, I think probably more specifically for Pac, he wanted to be more of Juice. Of his character in Juice. But it's probably because he would get more benefit out of being a thug. The girl is going to like the thug more. They're not going to want to be sleeping with you or giving you blowjobs and all that if you are walking around and you're just perceived as a poet. Unless you're a rich poet, then they let you grab them by the pussy. But if they're just you just a dude in the hood, you rather be you know, you don't want to be the guy that's sitting out there. That's not the image that's promoted. The guy who's sitting out on the stoop reading a book, and he doesn't talk in a threatening manner. No, he wanted to be a thug. So that's a black thing now. To promote being a thug, like that's the clothes that we put on, and that's what's cool. So that's what Pac wanted to do. Pac isn't the only one that wanted to do that. That is a much greater phenomenon than to be restricted to Tupac or even just rappers. It's not restricted to just rappers. You see this with these athletes. You see it with kids riding the bus and going to school. You don't, you know, I don't, if I ride public transportation, I don't hear gangs.
But I have the girls on the bus say, he's a square. He didn't even serve time in jail. And when I heard them say that, I was like, what?
Wow.
So they saw serving time in jail as being a right
See, so
passage,
this right. So that's why to me, that's why I see black culture in America has become very pathological. To me, is manifestly pathological. It's not
aspects of it. Not I would say.
Well, enough. No, I'm not saying all. I'm not saying all, but I'm saying enough of it is where you know I can present to you a nice gallon of the most delicious iced tea that's ever been made. And if I drop a turd in there, it might be a little teeny turd, little cat turd, but that's enough. It doesn't have to be fill up. I don't need a half gallon worth of turd. But if you can see that turd in there, or even I just pick.
Well, let me ask you, what is our responsibility for help healing the land, so to speak? What would you say is your responsibility in helping?
Largely to be an example, and that's kind of vague, but to be an example, the first thing is to shed a victim mentality and adopt a mentality of independent achievement. Not to say that you have to achieve things independently, but that you give up the idea that somebody else has responsibility for your success. That too many of us have this idea that we're not more successful because the white man has done something to us, that we're not more successful because of slavery or because of Jim Crow.
Well, there is a lot of research that says blacks typically tend to be even more positive about their future and their abilities than what one would think otherwise. There is research that says we as a people tend to be extremely more hopeful and that things can get better and that we can have that American dream despite the reality of what we currently face, or in spite of what we're currently struggling with.
Yeah, I mean, I would want to see the context of that kind of study to see what they, you know, how they would actually determine people's hope, aside from self-reporting.
There is a study that Tone Talks, part of the New Black Media, that he referenced in terms of just how we as ADOS typically are more hopeful, even though we may be facing extreme challenges. That we typically are more hopeful that things are going to work out. Okay, and that people are hopeful that they too can become a millionaire, like JC and Beyonce. Even though we know that under the bell curve that they are extreme outliers. Okay, but they present themselves as
now
you too can rap like me.
I think that does
become
I think that does exist, but to me that's more sick than anything, because why not just say I could be a successful teacher or accountant or whatever. But yeah, we do have a lot of an inordinate amount of young men and women particularly, but people into their 30s and 40s that are like, no, I'm going to be a rapper. That's it. That's what I'm going to do. Like, no, that's why it seems like, 60, 70% sometimes of where it's all, these sorts
because
of
people are socialized because that is what they see. They don't see the intellectual, right?
And now and they're being socialized by their peers and parents.
They don't see the Bill Cosby, the Dr. Huxtable.
Right.
Okay, they don't see that. They don't, even though they see the Cornel West and they see the Dr. Henry Louis Gates and they see Dyson talking on shows and things like that. Do they think, well, I can become a professor?
I hope that when they see Eric Michael Dyson, I hope they run the other way. But just that he's so terrible.
Eric Dyson?
Yeah, Michael Eric Dyson, the one who uses all those words.
Too much about rap. I think his latest works about, he's writing books on Beyonce and Jay-Z. I think as a scholar, I don't think that's
that he's an idiot.
Well, I don't know how fruitful that is for him to be that extremely talented, and he's spending time writing about Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Yeah,
it just seems quite a waste of talent and time.
Yeah,
but his last 3 works have been about rap artists.
Yeah,
and the power of rap. So I don't know.
Yeah,
where
he's kind of
intellect is. I don't know where he's going with.
Yeah, I think he's a waste of space. But black folks like him.
Well, I like his previous works.
Yeah,
I think there's something with him now.
He's a show off. He's corny. He tries to be funny. He's not funny. He's just not cool. He's corny. He's a cornball to me. Just a big cornball. I don't really know how to explain it other than that. He's like a. There's nothing about him when he presents. He sounds like he's trying to sound smart. When I hear somebody like Glenn Lowry or John McWhorter, I say, oh my God, these men have vocabularies that put mine to shame. When I hear Michael Eric Dyson, he sounds like he has a stack of 3x5 cards, and that he's remembering words and phrases the night before he speaks. He's like something between a rapper and a preacher. Too much flourish, too much performance, but he seems to have no real self-awareness. He's kind of gross to me overall. He's pretty detestable.
Well, I do like hearing him speak because I do think that for someone to have the command of the English language and use the words in the way that he does, he forces you to listen to him, and then in many ways to acknowledge, hey, I didn't understand the damn thing you just said. And so you go back and you listen to him again and again and again and again with the hope or with the hope or the expectation that and then you may say, well, okay.
But I guess that's part of the thing too, because like for some that kind of makes him look stupid to me, because the point when you're talking to people is for them to understand you, and it really more just seems like he's stunting on them, like, let me kick these words real quick. Whereas
I do think that you're right, and I do think that if you're going to give a talk, you want people to understand,
right?
And you don't.
But I think he's just trying to get draws, basically. I think that's his way of showing off. That's his way to get some draws. He's not cool enough or good. He doesn't present in any kind of like good way to. So he just like, well, this is what I have, he's just like basically just trying to get draws. That's how it comes off to me. He's a gross man. In my estimation right now. I've never met him, so I guess I might meet him one day and like him. But I guess if he hears this, I won't get that time of day. But I guess we should wrap up. It's 11 o'clock and I got to turn these things in. But I appreciate your time.
Thank you,
anybody that has stuck along and watched this through, appreciate you. If you have a comment, leave a comment. I have never checked a comment on this channel, but I would like to put myself in the habit of doing that. So if you do have a comment, go ahead, comment below, and I'll get back to you, or even maybe let let Abel know, and he could put in his 2 cents in the comments, and hopefully we'll do this again.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, soon. So I would like to go maybe a little deeper into the history and impact of slavery or something like that. But you
Okay,
kick it
right.
around maybe if
Right.
y'all have an idea in the comments.
Right.
If you like it, and we'll be back. Holla at you.
Okay.
Peace.